Hey guys, welcome back. For this Conker Rants, I would like to talk about a console that I feel like is just underrated in general, or overhated is probably the better term for it. So we're going to talk about 5 32X games that I genuinely think are very good, or at least worth playing in some capacity. So yeah, let's get into it. I don't genuinely have a order for these games, so it's not like a top list or anything like that. It's just games that I feel like are genuinely good, and when people talk about 32X, they always say kind of like blanket statement, everything on it is terrible, I feel like. So I just want to give a little shout out to some of these games. First one that I want to talk about is Afterburner. This port of Afterburner is like not perfect, but like at the time probably one of the best ports there was. Still genuinely a fun port to play. If you love Afterburner games, then this one is genuinely a really good copy to play. Graphically, it's amazing. The sprite scaling is fantastic on 32X, so it actually does work really well. My only disappointment with these games, like these arcade ports, is that we never got enough of them. I feel like it sucks because there were so many arcade ports that we could have got like an Outrun game for 32X, and it would have been great. But yeah, Afterburner. So seeing as how we're already on the topic of sprite scalers, Space Harrier for 32X is one of my favorite ways to play this game, that I own anyways. I don't own the Saturn version, but this version, like, near perfection. It's actually so good, so fun to play, and if you haven't played Space Harrier or Afterburner, as I just talked about, they're both definitely worth playing. Highly recommend this copy of the game. 32X is so underrated when it comes to its sprite scaling. So the next underrated game I would say for 32X is a platformer with great animation, great music, and I want to say great, but like quite good gameplay. And that game I want to talk about is Tempo. Such a good game. I'm actually kind of sad that we didn't get a whole lot of entries in this series. I know we got, I think, a sequel on the Sega Saturn, and we got a Tempo Junior for Game Gear that I've never played that version, but this game on its own merits is such a good game, genuinely so good. Good animation, good music, like I said, good gameplay. If you like Sega's platformers, like their in-house developed ones, I would highly recommend this game. Absolutely worth it. Although it does get sort of expensive, as a lot of 32X games do. Still worth play. So the next game on the list I want to talk about does a little bit with polygons on the 32X, and it actually does a fairly good job, although I would say like the frames per second are not really high up there. I'd still recommend this game. I still think it's worth playing. I do think it's a good 32X game, as I do think there are good 32X games. And this game is Metalhead. This is like a first person, I guess you can technically change the camera to third person, mech shooter. Actually a really good game. They give you objectives at the beginning and you walk around fully rendered 3D environments in your fully rendered 3D mech. Everything is textured. It's not one of those like just untextured polygon games. It's actually quite good looking. Doesn't have the best frame rate, like I said, but like it's actually definitely worth playing. It is 2 players too, so if you're into that, you can absolutely play it 2 players. Musically, this game is exactly how it sounds. Metalhead. The soundtrack is very metal. If you go into the option settings, you can actually change the speed of the metal to like really fast. But like it's really cool. Great soundtrack, great gameplay, good graphics. Definitely shows off a little bit of the power to 32X, and definitely underrated in my opinion. Okay, for the last game on the list, I want to talk about a 3D space shooter. No, I'm not talking about Star Wars Arcade, although that is a good 32X game. I'm talking about Shadow Squadron. If you haven't heard of this game, genuinely good 3D space shooter, fully 3D, lots of very large 3D ships, and you can free roam around. It's not like on rails like Star Fox, although it does have the same kind of look as Star Fox, I would say, in terms of like its graphics and not having textured polygons or anything. But genuinely good game. You can play it 2-player too. You can play it third person, you can play it in first person. Really good game, really fun missions to go through. And whenever I talk about 32X to people, or I'm showing off the 32X to someone that maybe hasn't played it before and has always heard that it's terrible, this is one of the first games I go to show them, like probably this and Metalhead, because It shows off the 32X's power when used correctly, and genuinely, it's actually just an outright good game that I feel like nobody talks about. And I love this game. Okay, and that's my list of great 32X games. Obviously, there are other games that I could talk about, like Colibri, or Knuckles Chaotix is great too. But I can't really talk about games that I don't own. I can, but I don't really want to. God damn it. Okay, so that's my list of 32X games that I feel are great. Fucking Jesus, what is wrong with me? Okay, so that's my list of 32X games that I feel are great or underrated, not talked about. Obviously, there are other games that I could talk about, but I don't own them, so I don't really like talking about things that I don't own. I don't own Colibri or any of these other games that are also absolutely fantastic 32X games, and the only reason I didn't bring up Knuckles Chaotix is because I feel like that one gets talked about enough. So yeah, if you like the content, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!